You're welcome back. So now we have free SHS, right? Increased access. Everybody can send their wards to senior high school, not worry about paying the bills. But perhaps you should worry about something else. Who are you leaving your children in the care of when you send them off to boarding school? Are you inadvertently leaving them in the hands of child molesters, child abusers? Must you add that to your headache as a parent? Well, we're going to talk about a particular school where this, unfortunately, is the reality for any parent who sends their child there. Bright Appiah is the Executive Director of Child Rights International. He joins us on the show because he is particularly concerned about St. Louis Senior High School in Kumasi. So, Child Rights International, by the way, nice to see you, Bright. Thank you very much for making the time.
Thank you.
Child Rights International has released a statement that they've written to us here at JoyNews about a defilement case at St. Louis. Now, we're taking this up as part of our Justice for Kids campaign. This is a JoyNews campaign, which is aimed at educating, sensitizing, and protecting children, as well as other members of society, from the incidents of child abuse. We're attacking this on all fronts. And today, we're looking at the case of St. Louis Senior High School. Now, according to Child Rights International, a story that was done by JoyNews concerning an alleged defilement, rape, and sexual abuse case between a student, teachers, and a non-teaching staff of the school has brought to their attention that the facts put out to the general public was initially limited. So they did their own investigation and they found a number of things. Bright, first of all, I'll let you walk us through what your investigation revealed.
Okay, thank you, Kajo, and good morning to your listeners and your viewers. Well, if you look at the investigation and the terms of reference that was given to the committee by Ghana Education Service, clearly point to the fact that they were just investigating the offenses that were committed by the teachers, the two teachers, and I think there were 4, and then 2 of them were found to be committing that offense. And we also decided to do our own investigation to really establish what is happening in the school. So in doing that, we realized that beyond the teaching staff who are having some sexual activity with children, non-teaching staff were also engaged in having some sexual activities with children, which wasn't part of the terms of reference for the committee. So it means that the committee just dealt with one leg of the issue, dealing with the teacher, but did not touch on issues relating to the non-teaching staff. And in the relation to the non-teaching staff, we realized that those who manage the kitchen normally engages children in this kind of sexual activity, especially those that they call the pantrymen. They normally have sexual activities with children. We did not go into the reasons why a student would decide to have a sexual activity or they would do that, but the conclusion was that such event took place on 3 occasions, and it came to the attention of the authorities of the school, and what they did was that they sat on the case, determined it, and then sacked both the student and the pantryman from the school. And we thought that once it's about sexual activities, then it means that the state requires that we must always fight in the best interest of the child. So we don't know what will make the school authority to even sack the student, because the demand did not come from the child, but it came from the pantryman with some level of pressure. So if they have taken the decision and then decided that they want to just administer the whole thing in their own way, we thought that no, it's out of place for the school authorities to do that. First of all, we know that sexual offenses are criminal. And if you look at the Code of Conduct of Ghana Education Service, there are processes that you have to go through before you can dispose of such cases. The only thing that we have problem with has to do with the fact that the punishment that they've prescribed for some of these things when you're culpable of some of these events and all that. So it falls within their perimeters to just decide that they want to deal with that issue. And when they dealt with the issue, they did not even inform the Regional Director of Education about it in terms of the outcome and the decision that they've taken, because the required of the headmistress or the head of the institution to report to the regional director on matters that are happening in the school, so that within the policy framework they can take certain actions and all. They didn't do that, and they did not also inform the police about the act. Neither did they engage the services of a social welfare officer to even have interface discussion with a student on the matter, so that if they need counseling, they would do it. And even when the committee sat and did their work, they did not even refer the matter to the counseling unit of the school. So we were just questioning the intention of the school why they did that, knowing very well that once a child is involved in sexual activity, whether with her consent or not, there are certain psychological things that you have to deal with, for the child to even understand the consequences that comes with some of these actions. Yeah. So if you did not make that recommendation, even to the counseling unit of the school, you did not inform anybody, then it means that the authorities have their own intention in terms of how they want to deal with the issue, and I don't know their interest in it, but clearly it falls out of place in terms of their mandate as an institution.
Do we know the ages of the victims?
Yes, so they are between 16, even one is around 15, and then up to 17 years. Okay. So these are the age bracket that we are dealing with, and once. Even if the child is above 18 years, by law, once the child is in school, the institution owes that child the duty of care and the standard of care.
Right.
So if people who are working with that environment is taking due advantage of them to do certain things, we can also move in to ensure that they do what is expected of them. So clearly we think that the school did not act professionally. That's why we are saying that Ghana Education Service must reopen the investigation to cover all aspects of it, so that when they are making recommendation or they want to put up a policy direction as to how they want to manage our school environment, they do so. But the bigger picture, Kojo, is that this is happening in St. Louis, and there are a lot of complaints that we've gotten from other schools and things that are happening to our children. And you raise the question as to whether a parent pays free tuition. Now they don't pay anything, but should they be worried about certain events? And I think that one of the areas that parents should be mindful of has to do with the people that they entrust their children, they trust children to manage. And for me, the work that we need to do has to do with the fact that Ghana Education Service must be up and do what is expected of them, and safeguard the environment for the welfare of children. Otherwise, we'll be reporting a lot of things about the children.
Is there a role for the police here, especially in the case of the one who is under the age of consent, below the age of consent?
Exactly. You see, the criminal issues about sexual offenses are criminal. So the Children's Act says that once you have a sexual offense with a child, either with consent or not, at a certain age, then it's criminal. And even with consent, if you look at the judgment of the court, consent is not just as has been written in the law, but consent must always be informed. The person who is giving the consent must be informed that what I'm doing, I know the consequences. And it is the discretion of the judge to determine, indeed, if the child really understands it. So the consent written in the law is not what, if you want to have a sexual intercourse with the child, and the child says, okay, yes. In the eye of the law, that is not the proper interpretation of it. So,
in fact, yes, to clarify, if you don't mind, that's the reason why there is an age of consent.
Exactly.
So if you are below the age of consent, it doesn't matter how informed you are. You cannot give consent because you are not old enough to do so, and so you are a victim of defilement.
Of course.
That is the law.
So that is clearly defilement. In defilement cases, whether it was done with consent or not, the law will deal with you. It is when you are above 16 years that the law requires that you should give consent. But even the consent that you have to give when you are above 16 years is what the law is saying, that it should be an informed consent. One. Yes.
So have you engaged the parents of these victims?
Yeah, we're trying to locate them, but the good news is that they have reported the matter to the police, and we are hoping that they will go the full length of handle it, the full length of it, and we still We're getting our rep in Ashanti region to get in touch with them, and if they are interested that they want to hand over the matter to us, we would handle it. And we have also demanded for the report from Ghana Education Service, what they've done so far, and then if you study the report, we would also take steps appropriately.
Now, in a moment, we'll connect with the Erastus Asare Donko, who has also been following up another case of a pantry man who is alleged to have molested one of the students. We'll get you the detail of that as soon as possible when we connect to Erastus. But until then, I want us to broaden the conversation now and look at some of the institutions that are responsible for caring for our children. Ghana Education Service is a main stakeholder here. But actually, I'm told we can connect with Erastus. Let's do that, and then we'll talk about the broader issues of GES. Erastus, good morning. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, Kojo.
Yes, good morning, Erastus. Now, we are aware that you have also been looking into another case of alleged child molestation by one of the pantry workers at St. Louis. What did you discover?
Well, currently, this is what we know, that indeed the issue in question happened on 6th October this year. It's between a final year student and then a pantry boy. His name is Akwasi Wampo. Now, we do understand that there's been an initial issue between the two, where the girl was supposed to have sent a mobile phone to him for her, and so she was punished for sending a mobile phone to school and giving a mobile phone to the gentleman. And then she was also cautioned not to repeat same or be in contact with the said gentleman again. That's according to the school authority. Now, on the 6th of October, it was Entertainment Day on Saturday, and she and another girl are supposed to have entered the pantry to get the guy to give them his phone to make calls. And we do understand from the authorities' point of view and from the girl as well that the guy started fondling her breast and touching her body part, to which she objected and pushed him away. And so it was subsequently that the senior prefect found them in that position in the pantry and reported to the authorities. I've been speaking with the girl, and she claimed that there was no sexual act, and that the guy started fondling her breast, which she objected and pushed him away. And later on, the girl in and reported the issue to the authorities. What we do know now is that yesterday, the guy sent to the regional director of education upon the request, the regional director. The two have been suspended. The gentleman has been suspended for 3 months, pending a decision by the board of the school whether to dismiss him or give him further punishment. The girl has been suspended for a month, but she's supposed to come back to the school, that's next week, to register for her exam. So that is what we know at the moment.
So what you're saying is that according to the school authorities, this girl who has been a victim of molestation by this pantry boy has been suspended for the offense of going to use a phone with a pantry boy. So they've suspended her for what she did wrong, even though she is now a victim of molestation. Is that right?
But what the authorities are telling me is that I asked a question, and then they are saying that he warned before from being in contact with that gentleman, and he has had a problem with a gentleman before, and she was punished. And that pantry area was a no-go area for students at that particular hour. And so they are punishing her for going straight into an unauthorized area, and then for going contrary to school rule. That is what I'm being told by the.
Right. So they focused on the offense she committed of breaching the school rules. What have they done about the fact that she has been molested?
Well, for that one, not much has been done about that. And I also asked about what will happen to the gentleman. They told me that the board is going to meet and decide whether to extend further punishment by dismissing him or keep him. So that's a later decision that will come.
All right. Well, I guess we'll have to keep an eye on this matter, and Erastus will keep touching base with you to learn what else has transpired. But for now, thank you. Thank you so much for that update. So, well, I guess the issue there is once again illustrated. The girl has broken the school rules, and the school has not hesitated to punish her for that. She's been suspended. But the girl is also a victim of molestation. The school has taken no action in that direction to help the girl.
Yes.
They are seeking to discipline the pantry boy. But again, no mention of reporting the crime to the police.
Exactly. Control, if you look at the happenings and the reasons why they've suspended them, I can say for a fact, not because of the rules that she broke, but because of the sexual offense that was reported. Because
you believe that's why she's been suspended?
The reason why it came to the limelight is because of the sexual activity that went on between the guy and the girl. That is why the other student reported the matter to the authority. So that is the reason why they did that. So if out of that, the school authority realized that at the time that she went to that place was the no-go area, then that action would have been a secondary action for them to take. So we were looking at the fundamental issue. Somebody who is a victim. So according to the girl, based on the report that your reporters are giving to us, that she did not consent to even those activities that happened between them. The guy forcibly did what he did. Then it means that this girl is a victim.
Yeah.
So the outcome of the case must be different, irrespective of what she did, or even if she broke her school rules. The primary responsibility of the school is to protect her first in that instance. So if they fail to do that, and they even ignored that aspect, and then just looked at, let's even assume that they sacked the girl because suspended her because of her obeying the school rules. So are we saying that the school is not showing concern about the girl being a victim of sexual offense? So those are the fundamental issues that we have to ask. And it also shows how the environment is, how students can easily come in contact with non-teaching staff and teachers during odd hours and all that. These are questions that we have to raise. So if the environment is so protected, I think that even when people are taking action, they'll be mindful of the kind of action that they have to take.
Right, Apia, we need to continue this dialogue. Justice for Kids is an initiative of JoyNews. We aim to do whatever we can using our platforms to protect children from child abuse. We aim to further education for members of the community, teachers, parents, police, all stakeholders, to make sure that we can do more and do better to protect children and prevent child sexual abuse. But in the cases where sexual abuse happens, we intend to pursue matters to their logical conclusion and make sure that children are given justice. This is a case we will certainly not let go of. St. Louis, as an institution to which parents have entrusted their daughters, we really need to hear from you what you're doing to protect them from this sort of occurrence. 2 of your teachers have been found to have done this. Now your pantry workers have also been found to do this, and you are suspending the children, the victims. We need to understand why that is your strategy and whether you can do better. But until then, of course, Bright, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let's talk more.
Yes.